The mark of the beast will fool even Christians. I was in the church at the top of the temple on the second floor. I met the pastor up there, and we were watching something on my cell phone, when suddenly, I began to see breaking news that started to pop up. This news began to appear in major networks. It seems this breaking news took the world by storm and caused an impact on the social networks. I told the pastor, "Something is happening right now in the world." Then the pastor got closer and started to watch the news on his cell phone. As we watched breaking news, suddenly that news on the phone started to project like on a very big screen in front of us, and I remember that suddenly, we started to enter inside that screen as if our bodies entered inside this screen that had been opened. In a blink of an eye, I found myself at the place that was broadcast by the news, the place that it was reported by the news. When I arrived there, I saw how people were running. There was chaos and big uproar in that city, which looked like a city on the east coast of America. I saw these streets and these houses seemed very much beautiful like America, but the population of the city was fleeing something in the streets towards us. When they passed us, I saw one of them looking very scared. He was really scared of what was happening there. I couldn't know exactly what's wrong. The only thing that I saw was people running and they were scared, because of something that was happening. It was like a riot or chaos. The people seemed so scared that I could not talk to them. They were all running towards a place. I wondered where are they running to and what was happening. I was also starting to get scared because of the fright and terror that were on the faces of these people. It seemed something very serious was happening. I saw that I was taken to a place where all these people met in a park, a very large park where there was a man. The place was chaotic. In that place, I saw a very large platform where many were gathered. Suddenly I heard screams. The multitudes were screaming, "They are coming, he is coming with them." It was then I saw a figure laughing out loud. When he got to the multitude, he said, "Fear not. I want to bring peace in your heart." These desperate people calmed down and they said, "They found us, they have managed to find us." I looked carefully wondering who are these men that are coming with the military personnel. They came closer every minute approaching the multitude. I saw that these men that were coming were priests. Behind them were coming a contingent of soldiers. These military were heavily armed soldiers very well equipped. I was watching those soldiers as they came walking towards that platform. I kept watching specifically the man who was coming in the middle. That man was a priest, that is known as the Pope, known to the whole world as Papa. He was wearing a white robe. He had a hat, a very tall hat with figures and a cross. On one hand, was a rosary and on the other hand, was a staff. The priest began to approach those people who were there. He climbed on top of that platform and began to tell those people that were full of fear, "I know you are scared of what is going on. Do not be afraid, I have come to bring you peace." There were thousands of souls around that platform. Many were gathered and they were silently listening to the Pope who told them, "Do not be afraid and do not be scared and confused, because I have come to bring peace." I remember that I started looking at that man. I said, "This is the Pope, he is a liar because he can't bring peace." I started saying to myself, "He is a deceiving man, he is telling lies." Suddenly he called some priests who were there. They were dressed in black and white. They had a little chat between them. I remember they were joined by a man, a very famous actor. I looked at him and I recognized him. This actor is well known throughout the world for he made a lot of movies. He told the crowds, "You cannot be scared. Do not be afraid, they have only come to bring peace to this nation and the whole world." The very famous actor was Leonardo DiCaprio. He told the population, "These priests here came for peace. The Pope here is the one we were waiting for. He will bring peace to the whole world. The world has been destroyed by wars and this priest is the one who will bring peace to all mankind." The population listening to the actor, Leonardo, began to say to one another, "We believe him, we believe what the actor said about bringing peace to this world." Then the priest began to invite soldiers that were National Guards. I looked at those soldiers that brought great boxes, placing them on a very large table. When they were emptying those boxes, I saw microchips. The priest asked these soldiers to bring those chips to him on the platform. The actor Leonardo said to the people, "Accept this chip, it is something good and you will not suffer so that you do not have chaos." These soldiers' National Guards are going to take care of you. You are going to have protection." Soldiers started grabbing the chips and began to insert them on the forehead of the people. The actor said to the population, "Look and see. I'm a very famous and well-recognized actor. I have trusted these priests and I have put my trust in them. What the Pope is saying to you is something true. I know he will bring peace to all the nations." People began to accept that chip on the forehead and the hand. I was watching the people who were thousands of souls, multitude, where there were many young people. They believe in Leonardo. One of them said, "He is my favorite actor. I watched his movies." Those young people said amen to the microchip, and they believe the actor, for he is a very famous man and recognized. I watched how these people were deceived by the actor and by that priest. I remember that they began to get these young people closer in order to mark them. These souls told the actor, "We believe you." They joined him on the platform, and the soldiers started quickly to put those chips on their forehead. The population still looked at each other and they seemed scared as if they did not understand what was happening in the world. The priest was looking and observing these souls, and he saw that there were still people who were not convinced about getting the chip. I remember that priest began to look around. He talked with the other priests and soldiers. Finally, I saw him coming with another actor that was very recognized in the world and social media. The actor climbed quickly on that platform. The man was a very famous Spanish singer, very well known. He began to tell those people who were confused and doubting, "This man, that is here, has come to bring us peace. Can you see the trouble and destruction in the world? Just look at how the world has become and what is happening out there. The news of what's happening in the world is shocking. The whole world is in chaos." He told the crowds, "You just have to believe that this man has come to bring peace to the people. He has promised to have a very different government. He has promised that there will be no more war, there will be no death, there will be no hunger, there will be no plague." As this very famous singer was talking, these people started to look at each other and began to say between themselves, "These men are going to help us." Those souls looked at each other and they began to say, "Is it true what these people are saying?" They wondered about the words of the actor and the priest, and I remember that these souls began to come closer and they began to make a line. The priest got them to the platform, and since the priest who was there is known as the Pope, he quickly made a sign with his hand and those soldiers hastily started to grab those chips and people began to receive this seal in the hand and on the forehead. I looked and I said, "This is wrong, this is not the truth, these men are deceitful men, what they are saying is a lie." I watched, beloved, as more people arrived at that place. I noticed a group among them that had different outfits. I looked at the group of people who were women and men. I saw that women dressed in long skirts with blouses long up to the ankles. I looked at the men. They looked very neat in shirts and shoes and in pants. I was watching. I said, "Who are these people?" I started to say, "Those people dress like Christians." These people start approaching. My dear, when the priest observed these people dressed like this, I noticed that his face started to change fast as if something very wonderful had happened. There was a lot of joy on his face to see those people arriving. He consulted soldiers and those priests that were dressed in white, telling them with excitement, "Look who are coming to serve us. These are Christians." Those priests began to rejoice like something special was happening. I remember the Pope raising his hand and started calling them. When these Christians approached the platform, he told them, "You are here dressed like this, who are you?" They said, "We are Christians, we are evangelists, and we are here because of the chaos happening and it is something terrible." I looked at those brothers, they were very scared and confused about what was happening, and I began to tell them not to be. I warned them, "What you see happening here is a hoax, this is a lie." Some of them said, "Don't mind him, these priests are telling the truth." I remember that some shepherds told me, "You don't know anything, you do not know what we are going through. You are a boy, you are a child, you don't know what's going on. Why are you not seeing the chaos and turmoil that is happening? Observe what is happening." I told him, "No brother, this is a hoax, don't be fooled, don't be fooled, for this man on the platform is doing all this to seal you with the chip on the table." But those men could not see boxes of microchips on the table because there was a lot of crowds. Then the priest started calling them with a laugh on his face. He said, "I was waiting for you. You know perfectly well that I have promised to bring you peace. I have promised to bring peace to this world. I have promised to bring you peace." Those Christians said, "Absolutely, what is happening is something we did not expect. This chaos, this hunger and calamities that are happening, we did not expect them." I started to cry, for these people would not listen. I said, "This is a trap. The priest is evil. He is a bad man who is fooling humanity, deceiving people so that he will be able to put the seal on them." The smiling priest began to call these brethren one by one. It seemed as if shepherds brought their congregations. There were pastors with their churches. I was very scared of what I was observing. I said, "Lord, what is happening? What's going on?" The priests just laughed out loud with those priests, and there were thousands of soldiers of National Guards in that place. When they started to seal all those souls, I saw the priest meeting with soldiers and telling them these words, "Now go house to house and go and start bringing those people who are missing, those people that are hidden." The priest began to tell those soldiers, who were thousands, to deploy in the city with their armaments. Very quickly, they started to go out around the streets. Those soldiers came to a house that was closed, and I remember that these soldiers started kicking the door of the house. They finally broke down that door. They began to enter those houses in order to register the occupants, but there was nobody in that house. They left and began to go to the next house. They started to kick that door. When they got in that house, I remember there was a family. I remember that those soldiers started grabbing that family. They grabbed them by their hair and neck, forcibly pulling them out. They began to remove those families. Women and children began to take them out of in a brutal way, dragging them. I heard them saying, "No, I'm not going, I'm staying here." I saw strands of their hair on the ground. I looked and I saw some soldiers arriving before a church. They began to kick the gate. I looked inside the temple. I saw brothers and the pastor. They were there together. They were gathered for prayer. They were crying, and the pastor said, "Don't be afraid, because the Lord is with us." Yet soldiers were kicking the door hard. They were about to enter. At that moment, I was back looking at this event on my cell phone, and I looked at the news of what was happening in the world. Many people were confused. Beloved brothers, we as Christians must know that the chase is coming. We are already in the persecution. Many of our brothers are already being persecuted over the world. How miserable those days will be for pregnant and nursing mothers. Pray that your flight will not occur in the winter or on the Sabbath, for that time, there will be great tribulation, unmatched from the beginning of the world until now and never to be seen again. Matthew 24 verse 19-21.